Well, hello again, Miss Young, Miss Putnam. I'm really excited about talking about what you would see if you were to come into my ideal fourth through grade classroom. Again, an overview of how I feel about fourth grade is that it's got a strong commitment to developing communication skills overall. And yes, that means writing, but it's also reading, speaking, and listening. And so there's that opportunity to sort of blend language arts into all other content areas. And I'll give you an example using mathematics. So to develop a deep understanding of mathematical ideas, students really need exposure to discovery experiences with concrete objects before they're able to move on to representational or abstract thinking. So having the opportunity within that discovery experience to reflect on what they learn, both in writing and sharing orally, it's key. So the process of reflecting, it does help students make sense of mathematical explorations and the kind of thinking that they go through as they're sorting through vocabulary choices and they're organizing their ideas on paper. It supports that mental transition process from concrete to representational to abstract. Discussing and sharing these ideas out loud, it not only builds a deeper meaning, but it also opens up learners at the same time to other methods and points of view. So in building this kind of learning environment, if you were to come into my class, you would see evidence of commitment to building that positive learning community. You would see posted and in use by learners and facilitators a social contract that we've spent time carefully crafting. And you might also visit during a time when we're working through a class check-in or a meeting where we are constantly revisiting that social contract and we are supporting that overall commitment to be positive and to bring out the best in each other. And so what does that look like? You'll see flexible seating choices. Students will be in groups for one task and then later in a different group or pairing for another. Arrangement would be focused entirely on supporting whatever the learning need is at the time. And it would also, though, lend itself to times when we need to come back together and we need to share as a class. You'd see on the wall student work in progress, you'd see brainstorming, you'd see planning, and you also would see space for celebrations of learning and maybe even celebrations of students as individuals. You'd see a variety of tools being offered to match the learning need and support choice. They could be digital, they could be concrete, they could be traditional. They would be whatever best would help the student move forward. And you'd see movement and activity most of the time. These moments would seem less chaotic, hopefully, and more purposeful, or as a result of highly engaged students working through a learning experience. As well as you might hear some noise, and of course, my ideal classroom. Well, it wouldn't be quiet. It would be filled, again, with purposeful discussion and sharing, and you'd hear feedback that supports growth, and which is one of my personal learning goals, is to make sure that I'm giving specific, meaningful feedback that fosters growth. You'll hear questions, you'll hear I wonder, you'll hear I think being expressed, and all these observations that you see and that you hear, they would feel comfortable and always purposeful. My ideal class, it would feel safe. It would be safe to discover, it would be safe to explore new ideas, it would be safe to take risks with your learning, and it would be safe to be yourself. Thank you.